Greetings to everyone. So last class we have started about the read in detail about the electromagnetic radiation. So if we take microwaves, right? So microwaves is also an electromagnetic radiation. So if we place microwave radiation to a particular molecule, then we get microwave spectroscopy. Okay, so this is because of the rotation of the molecules. So microwave spectroscopy is also known as rotational spectroscopy. Okay. So basic concepts of this microwave spectroscopy are the rotational energies of the molecules are always quantized. That is, only they have definite energies. That is, E is equal to h nu, where E is the energy in joules, h is the Planck's constant, and mu is the rotational frequency in hertz. Okay. So the range of the rotational frequencies is about 8 into 10 power 10 to 4 into 10 power 11 hertz, which corresponds to wavelengths around 0.75 to 3.75 millimeters. These wavelengths fall in the microwave region of the electromagnetic spectrum. So if you want to take microwave spectroscopy, so we need to supply or we need to apply the frequency, that is rotational frequency. See, rotations are always like this, right? So we need to apply rotational frequencies in the range of 8 into 10 power 10 to 4 into 10 power 11 hertz, or in the wavelength of 0.75 to 3.75 millimeters. Then only we'll get microwave spectroscopy or rotational spectroscopy. Clear? Next. So, by absorption of microwave radiation, transitions can occur between rotational or inversion energy levels of the molecule. So, when a molecule is supplied with this microwave radiation, okay, so what happens? There will be rotational transitions which will take place in the molecule, right? So here, molecule must have permanent dipole moment if it has a rotational spectrum. So we have to keep it in mind that if it has a permanent dipole moment, or if a molecule has permanent dipole moment, then only it shows rotational spectrum or microwave spectra. See, microwave spectroscopy, we have an example in our daily life also. See, the microwaves which we use in our homes, it depends on this microwave spectroscopy only. Okay, so you can see whenever an object is kept inside that microwave oven, what happens? It goes on transitions, right? It goes on rotating. You might have observed it, right? So these rotational transitions which are taking place makes and the temperature which we put it gives you the uh, microwave spectrum or rotational spectrum. Okay. That means see here, the molecule should, what we are saying, the molecule should have permanent dipole moment. For this, I'll give you an example. So when you're going to a canteen or in a bakery, right? So what he does, if I order a samosa or a puff or whatever it is, okay, suppose I'm ordering a veg puff. So what do? They just put a paper plate, okay, and then they put the veg puff on it, and then they put it in the microwave oven, okay, and then start heating it, right? And when they'll take it out and then give it to us. Do you feel any heat on the paper? The puff will get heated, but the paper won't get heated. Remember this or observe this again and again. Okay, nowadays you can't go out because of the COVID problem. So, in homes you can try this. Okay, so if you put a paper, so be careful, ma, because It is the application of heat also. So you might have observed it already, but you don't think upon it, right? So because there is no permanent dipole moment for the paper, it is not absorbing the heat, okay? Whereas there is permanent dipole moment for the wedge puff, okay? Because there is water molecule, there is some contents in it which have some permanent dipole moment. That is why it is getting heated up, okay? So this is just an example which I wanted to uh, tell you all, okay? Now some definitions which we should know about rotation. So as you know, moment of inertia will be there when it is going on rotating, okay? And the formula of moment of inertia is I is equal to mr square, okay? R is the distance, and then angular momentum is I omega, where the angular frequency, that is omega, is equal to 2 pi mu, right? So all these equations you know already, right? Just the repetition part, okay? Just you have to think of it. Then classification of molecules according to moment of inertia. Okay. So suppose there are three axes, right? So upon these three axes, if a molecule is linear in shape, okay, if a molecule is linear in shape, then the moment of inertia around this IA, okay, suppose this is our IA, so this is equal to 0, okay? And whereas IB is equal to IC, okay? The moment of inertia rotating about B axis and C will be the same, okay? So you can see here for linear molecules, moment of inertia around A axis is 0, and for B and C it is equal. Then we go for symmetric tops. Symmetric tops, you know the example. Basically, whenever I used to go in childhood days to the exhibition, we used to bring that, what to call that, symmetric tops, like top. Okay, you used to put some gearing like thing, and then we used to uh, weave it. Right? Then it used to rotate down. Right? So it is nothing but a symmetric top. So if we take the example of a symmetric top molecule, and suppose we have this methyl fluoride, okay, CH3F, okay. So if you take F at the top and C in the middle and three H's like this, and if you rotate from the top, okay, so what is happening is this won't be equal to these two. Why? Because CF, if you take the bond of CF, it is polar in nature, right? Because fluoride is polar in nature. So what happens? The dipole moment will be towards fluorine, right? So there is more pull of electrons towards fluorine rather than C, right? Whereas if you take C and then three H's around it, it will be the same, isn't it? So that is why what we are saying is in symmetric tops, IA is not equal to 0 because there is some pullage or pulling of the electrons near the fluorine, right? So IA is not equal to 0, but IB is equal to IC. So you can just change the position of the hydrogens. So three hydrogens will be the same, right? So that is why in symmetric tops, IA is not equal to 0, whereas IB is equal to IC. Then next, we have spherical tops. So spherical tops, for this, if you take the example of this methane, okay, CH4. So CH. So what happens if this H, okay, if this H is getting replaced by this H, nothing will happen, right? So if this H is replaced by this H, nothing will happen. This H replaced by this H, nothing will happen because all are same, right? So what is happening if you change the positions or because of the rotations, if these H atoms are getting changed in their positions also, the moment of inertia will be equal, right, in all the three axes. So that is why we say IA is equal to IB is equal to IC. So if both the three axes are the same, then there won't be no rotational spectrum. So rotational spectrum is not observed here because there is no permanent dipole moment. Okay. Then we have this asymmetric tops. So for this asymmetric tops, if we take the example of water, we have H2O, and then we have this C double bond C, HCl, and two hydrogens. Okay, so in these molecules, you can see that IA is not equal to IB is not equal to IC. So because if the rotation between, you can know that rotation between the double bond molecule is very, very restricted, right? So that is why we can say that the moment of inertia of all the three axes is not the same. That is, IA is not equal to IB is not equal to IC. Clear? So depending upon the moment of inertia, we have these four classifications, that is linear molecules, symmetric tops, asymmetric tops, and spherical tops. So linear, IA is equal to 0, IB is equal to IC. Symmetric tops, IA is not equal to 0, IB is equal to IC. Spherical tops, IA is equal to IB is equal to IC. And asymmetric tops, IA is not equal to IB is not equal to IC. See you? So in the next class, we'll discuss about the equation. Okay. So thank you.